So are there any good or bad news about the injuries or COVID? Any updates at all?
Yeah, the boys who had to isolate or had COVID are back. Means Fab, Virgil, Curtis, and Thiago. Thiago was the latest. He came back, trained first time yesterday with the team. We have one young player who is now isolating, and 2 staff. So it's really tricky. It's every morning when you come in, it's like a little bit like a lottery. You hope it's all fine, and then one case, and okay, that's the situation. But apart from that, we are fine.
There's a lot of talk, of course, at a Premier League managers meeting about the pressure on players with the fixture backlog and COVID, etc. Does not playing on Boxing Day help that situation for you, or does it not really make that much difference?
Yeah, of course. So I said before that the situation should not be like this, and we can discuss about that every year, all these kind of things. I know so many people think it's tradition. We wanted to play on Boxing Day. We could have played on Boxing Day, no problem at all. It was because of Leeds, obviously, the situation there. So we accept that. But then playing then 26 and 28 is just not right. And I just say that because it's true. So and I think you can find solutions for that. It's not that difficult to play football in a slightly different way. 26th, 29th, where's the problem? Some teams are doing that. United plays tonight, and I'm not sure when they have the next game. Probably not the 29th, maybe the 30th or whatever. So there's enough days for play football, and it just would help the players, even without COVID. And the problem is now, obviously, but some teams definitely have a proper COVID problem in the moment, and then you rush a smaller group of players through 2 games. So you need luck in these moments, and I think you should not need luck in these moments. That's the situation. We said it, and very often, and the Boxing Day is never in doubt that we all want to play on Boxing Day. Actually, it's a great fixture. Everyone loves it. It's great for the people. It's great for the players. Really good for everybody. But then after that, we will not stop discussing, because if we don't discuss it, it just stays like this. Maybe it stays anyway like this, but there's still the players need help, and the help needs to come from other areas. And that means in this case now the coaches are the closest to the players, and we have to deal with all these kind of things, and that's why we are pretty clear about that.
Obviously, looking to the game at Stamford Bridge just briefly, you're going to need the strongest possible squad to go to Stamford Bridge. So good news on that front, I guess, in terms of the African Cup of Nations, as Mo, Sadio, Naby will be available.
Yeah, hopefully there's another game in between. But we'll play against Leicester first, and tomorrow. And,
they would always be available for that game, but they've been allowed to come a bit later, I think. Is that right?
Yeah, true. So the news, obviously, well, that was good. Was really thankful for that. I think it's right, but anyway, we needed help, and we got the help there. All the clubs got the help, so it's good that the boys can play this game. And after that, yeah, they still have to go.
And Leicester, as you say, that's the next challenge.
Yeah, it is, and you saw obviously Leicester not in a perfect situation, because they have obviously injuries, and they have I'm not sure, but probably still COVID cases. Maybe now lesser, but we played them only a few days ago, and they were pretty strong in that game. And yesterday they had, I think when we went out for training when it was 4-0. All of a sudden, I got a mess. Somebody told me it's 4-3, and I thought, oh, wow. So they were obviously close, and they're just a good team. What Brent is doing there is exceptional, and that's why it will be tricky for us, of course. But we will try.
Thank you, Gary. We'll go for a couple from Naz, and then a couple from Carl Woodward, and that will be it for the Open as it stands. Naz.
Hi, Jurgen. Festive greetings. Hope you had a good Christmas.
Hi, thank you. Hope you do.
Jurgen, with everything that's going on, is this the toughest time to be a Premier League manager with COVID, with the fixture pile-up, with everything else that's going on around it? Is this the toughest season you've had as a coach in your career?
Is it toughest? I don't know. So this time of day is always tough, and that's again, I can say that's not a problem. That's what we're used to, what we know beforehand. We know in June, in July, when we have a preseason, we know we have to prepare for a long season, and part of the season is December and January. So that's how it is. But of course, for some teams, even tougher than for other teams. So if you are in international football, you have 6 games more. If you are longer in the cup competitions, you have at least 3 games, or at least 2 games more. So that makes already 8 in a really in a specific time, and that's really tough. But it's the toughest. I'm not sure. So far, we cannot really be sure. So we had now our first 4 cases, now 5th, 6th, and 7th, but from staff and one young player. But you never know. This morning you come in and we do the testing, and then you stand in front of the building and you just hope that you're still fine. So because obviously our players had no symptoms at all. The 2 staff guys had absolutely no symptoms. Means it can pretty much hit everybody. So that makes it obviously really tricky, of course, because you, in a moment when you get a positive test, you're out. You just sit back in the car, drive home, and isolate. So that's the situation moment. That makes it especially tough. That's true. But other periods have been tough for other reasons. So we just deal with it. We try to get through it. We hope, we pray that things will be fine in the moment, and obviously in the long term then for all of us. So it's like, at least we don't even know 100% which kind of variant we get. We don't, all the players got yet, because we don't get this information as quick as I'm not sure how quick it's possible, but it's not that you get it then directly, he's positive and you know immediately, is it Delta, is it Omicron, whatever. But it looks like in a moment, because we had obviously over the last 1.5 years, we had other cases, and now it looks really like this is the symptoms. When you are vaccinated and when you are boosted, then you don't have any kind of symptoms, which is obviously good news as well in difficult times.
With all of that and with everything that's going on, I saw a quote, I think, from you, that you fell in love with your team again. And I wanted to just mention how much those young players performed against Leicester, and how proud are you and how positive are you for the future of the football club with all of those youngsters that are coming through? And you've got a lot of talent there that's going to be potentially first team players in the next few potentially months and years, haven't you?
Yeah, very happy about that. We are very thankful towards the academy that they produce these kind of guys. I think the region we are living in and the area we're living in gives you a specific character education as well. So they are not only great footballers, they are really good boys as well. Well educated and all this kind of thing, so that's really positive. And yes, the Leicester game was now because that's how it's said, and that's definitely the case. If the lineup of the first half would have worked out, it would have been because of the players. That it didn't really work out was my fault. So you have always to be really sensitive about how many you throw in the same moment. It was for a different reason, not really differently possible. We could have played a different lineup in the first half, but then we would have had to change for the second half. So we decided this way around that we will be slightly more experienced and stronger in the second half. That's what we wanted to do in the first. What was clear before the game. So we're slightly lucky that we needed the 95th minute to score the equalizer, but that's the situation you are in. We spoke now to your colleague about how tough the period is, and in these periods you have to make decisions, and because of the things that happen during the week, and that's obvious for the outside world, not so easy to understand. I can imagine that they want to see always the same players in their mind, the best 11 playing constantly. These kind of things are not possible with these different tournaments which we are going through. And I really think the boys did exceptionally well. And especially what I love about it, what I love about the night. First half, obviously 3-1 down, and the atmosphere was now not like great, like being 5-0 up, but it was good. So the people were not angry or overly disappointed. They just thought, okay, that's now how it is. But in the second half, when we stepped out again, you could feel immediately they want to go for it. So the crowd as well, and create a really special atmosphere, and that's what I love the most.
And just finally, Thomas Tuchel yesterday mentioned that he thinks that the current situation with COVID, fixtures, everything, he just mentioned it's not fair. And he also mentioned, the 5 substitutes. Would you be in favour of the 5 substitutes returning?
Yes. Look, it's. I think pretty much a lot of teams. So we have to put the competition on our side and don't say, okay, City has better subs than I don't know which other team, than Southampton. We have better subs than Burnley or whatever. Yes, that's probably true. Whatever that means exactly, because they still how it's Premier League and it can cause us problems and all these kind of things. But if you talk about the quality without playing just transfer market and all these kind of things, yeah, then that's the case. The problem is, obviously, so this intensity for a top class football in England is definitely at the edge. Is that right? At the edge. So it means a top class player in England, so plays roundabout, let me say Premier League game, 38 games. Cup games, 2 cup competitions. So even when we don't go to the final, let's just put on another 5. It's 43. They have international games with their national teams because they pretty much all of them play for their national teams. 9, 10 games, 8, 9, 10 games a year. So you can count that. Plus Champions League games. The further you go, the more games it is. So you come pretty quick in an area with more than 50 games. Sorry?
Higher.
Huh?
Yeah,
Higher or higher. Sorry. So my first season here, we played, I think, the final again. It was the 64th game, if I'm right. So, yes, now we have squads and can swap and all these kind of things, but there are some key players they only get out when they are injured pretty much. So that's how it is. And now, but now the decision about it is made, and we realized again in the managers meeting, it was like that. The decision about it is made by 14 clubs. So I think you need 14 votes to change it. And there's something wrong, because obviously for most of as an example, Burnley, I'm not sure how many players of them play international football when our players have 3 games, they have no game. So they play 38 Premier League games, cup games, another 2, 3, 4, so makes it 42. So we talk about an issue what some clubs definitely have, some players definitely have, but it's decided by other teams. And because we make kind of a competition of it in this voting, it's like, well, no, they are better than us and stuff like this. And that's a real problem. I have to say that's a real problem, because it's the right decision, especially in this moment, because you bring players back after a COVID infection or after an injury. And because of the games you have to play, they have to play immediately. And then they go out again because you cannot get them off after 60 minutes and because you have to change others and all these kind of things. So that's a real problem. So this wonderful game is so wonderful because usually the player on the pitch are in good shape, are well trained, have well recovered and go for it. And that's why we love the game. But now and the situation is clear. If you don't do that, it's just much more difficult. And again, one example is the best league in the world and the most intense league in the world is the only league in Europe and maybe in the world, I don't know, with still 3 subs. And that's not right. It's not. But we came through until here, it is. But I still think we have to talk about it. We have to think about it. We should change it. But it's for the Premier League. Richard Master said he would like to make this decision by himself, but he can't because you need a vote. And this vote is other clubs which other problems, different problems, say, no, we don't want to have 5 subs. And so I don't see a real chance to change it, to be honest.
Thank you, Naz. Thank you very much. Final ones in the open, a couple from Carl Woodward, and then we're going to go to the bonus section.
Hello, Jurgen.
Hello.
Just going back to last week's win against Leicester, all your goals were clinically taken, composed, and such a hectic game. Does that type of finish show how great your mentality of your players are, to strike the balls like that when there's so much going on around them and the atmosphere is so loud as well.
Yeah, everything. So, but when you play not only for a day or so like for a month, for 2, for 3, you first and foremost you heard it before. You had an atmosphere, a similar atmosphere like this, and actually we all do it. All of us, we all do it for playing in an atmosphere like Anfield can create, and so special. It's not that it makes you nervous. It just pushes you through, and it gives you just an extra boost constantly. And actually, it helps you flying. It helps you forgetting that it's really hard what you're doing here. That it's really intense, and that your body might give you some signs. I'm done or whatever. So you can just get through all these things. Yeah, absolutely special. But it's not. And it helps. It's not hindering.
Yeah, and that 4-0 result at Leicester 2 years ago, Boxing Day, was a brilliant away performance. Was that as close to perfection as you can get away from home? It was such a powerful display, and because of Leicester's last 2 results, they're going to be hurting tomorrow. Do you think you're going to need something like that tomorrow as well?
I think we can divide it a little bit. So like this performance 2 years ago, that was after we came back from the Club World Cup from Qatar, and we had absolutely no idea how we will deal with that intensity because we played there 2 games. In the middle of a very intense period, so have the travels, different climate. Obviously, it was much warmer in Qatar than it was here. You come back and we had really no idea how the boys will react, and then this reaction was absolutely special. It was one of the best away performances we produced since I'm here. Was outstanding. But we shouldn't now compare, and the situation is clear. We have to. I expect Leicester will fight with all they have. That's how they are. But we will go there, and we want to go there to get a result as well. So we will fight as well. That's it. How good the game will be in the end, we will see. But we are going there to win the game, which is difficult enough.